In my last video, I covered all the spoilers for the player core coming in November. However, I also wanted to cover all the other spoilers we got at PaizoCon, including some things for Rage of Elements, as well as High Helm coming next month. So, let's just get right into it. So I'm going to start with Lost Omens High Helm, because that's the next book we're getting. The date has been confirmed as June 28th. So you'll be able to pick that up then. This book is going to be all about High Helm, the very large dwarven city built into a mountain that also happens to lead to the Darklands. So there's going to be a lot of dwarven options in this book. That doesn't mean there's also not going to be options for other ancestries. There's going to be rules options for lots of ancestries, as well as new dwarven feats and new animal companions in this book. They've also confirmed a new archetype called the Stalwart Defender. The Stalwart Defender was my favorite prestige class in Pathfinder 1e, so I'm very interested to see what they do with it in 2e. But they did confirm a few things. First off, in most cases, this archetype is going to be limited to dwarves. However, that does not mean that other classes cannot take this. They just have to go to High Helm and get a dwarf to teach them. They also said that the Stalwart Defender is also going to be resistant to damage, be able to heal themselves, and be able to create difficult terrain around themselves. They also talked about the Sky King's Tomb adventure path and some of the options we're going to get in there, as well as some of the monsters you'll face. For other dwarven options, especially in Sky King's Tomb, they did talk about the Dwarven Pantheon, specifically Trude the Mighty, the dwarven deity of battle and might. They also said that Caden Kalen actually likes Trude and wants to get with her, and Trude's sister says, "Bag that dude." They also said that there's going to be dwarven relics in Sky King's Tomb, and I'm sure a lot of you know how relics work. In addition, there's going to be 2 new archetypes in that book as well. One's going to allow you to become living stone, and the other is going to let you use stone in your fighting style. They have also confirmed that there isn't going to be any more drow stuff, at least not for a while. It's going to be cavern elf stuff, but no drow stuff because drow is kind of a D&D thing. That means there will probably never be a heritage for drow other than cavern elves. They also talked about more subterranean dwarves. The dwarves that when Torag said to go to the surface, they said, nah, we're not going to do that. They're called Harengar. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. If you know anything about them, you know that they used to be all about slavery, but that's no longer the case. Now, instead, pretty much their entire society is based on a pyramid scheme now. Their entire society is basically like, oh, I helped you and you became successful. Well, now you owe me money, basically. We were also told that they have a big resentment of the service dwarfs because they just kind of left and took everything with them. So these dwarfs basically had nothing. They also confirmed 3 innate occult spells they're going to have. Sigil to mark what's theirs, Blood Vendetta, and Paranoia. And finally, this has nothing to do with dwarves, but they did say that they are tweaking flesh warps. They didn't say how they were going to tweak flesh warps, but we'll see. Now it's time to talk about something that a lot of you guys probably clicked on this video for, Rage of Elements. Firstly, they didn't confirm the metal and wood planes, and the kineticist is going to be able to work with those 2 elements. They also confirmed that there is going to be composite impulses for the kineticist. So you're going to be able to combine 2 different elements for some crazy effects. For example, they confirmed the whirling grindstone impulse, which combines earth and metal and is literally a whirling grindstone. They also confirmed the magma composite impulse called Lava Leap, which they didn't go into detail on it though. They also said that the kinetic aura is going to be an automatic thing when you gather your elements now. They also revealed a feat called Versatile Blast, which allows you to change the element on your kinetic blast to something else other than the element you choose at character creation. And for another player option, they also revealed the Elemental Instinct Barbarian. They didn't say what that entails, but another Barbarian Instinct sounds amazing. They also revealed 2 new monsters. The Avalanche Legion, which is essentially a troop of Earth Elementals, and has the Trample into Earth and Rolling Boulders abilities. Didn't go into detail on what those abilities do. And the Capri Talus. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right again. That one is a plane of metal monster, and it's got a bunch of different heads that it rotates when its mood changes. It also has multiple hands, each of which is a different special metal. And it also shoots lasers out of its eyes. And the last thing for Rage of Elements I'm going to talk about in this video is that there are now genies for wood and metal. In fact, they gave us the specific name for metal genies, which is the Zura genies. Also in this section, they talked about a new book coming out in 2024 called Howl of the Wilds. This is basically a book about animals, beasts, and the natural world. Firstly, they did confirm that there's going to be nature wardens, but they didn't say anything else about it. And there's going to be hydras. Specifically, there's going to be hydras of different variants. For example, they talked about a hydra that eats star metals to gain special abilities. They also talked about a couple monsters, one called the Spellstong Lyrebird, which, of course, wizards were trying to create a familiar that could help them with verbal components of their spells, and of course things went horribly wrong, and now you have a monster that can mimic the verbal components of spells and actually cast them. They also talked about the Mammoth Landstar, which is basically a starfish, only big, and can be on land. So it can do everything that a standard starfish can, including heal its own limbs and swallow you whole. And of course, we already know about the Minotaur and the Centaur, but we've got more information about them now. Both of these ancestries are going to be large creatures, but they both have heritages that you can go medium with. For the Minotaur, they're gonna have masonry and stonework feats, in addition to a specific feat called Alarming Disappearance. Basically, you got this huge Minotaur, and all of a sudden it disappears, making it great for rogues. They also confirmed the Friendly Fling feat, which sounds like it's going to be a lot like the Friendly Toss Barbarian feats. For Centaur, they did confirm the Budding Speaker heritage, which is going to be a lot more magical than other Centaur heritages. And they've confirmed that the Centaur is going to have a lot of variety in it. For example, things like herbalism and being able to trample people. And finally, they did confirm that you're going to be able to ride on Centaur characters, as long as you're smaller, of course. And it's not going to be like the sprite riding on other characters. Centaurs are actually built for people to ride on them, so you're not going to have the same thing. We didn't get a whole lot on the Tian Xia books, but we did get some. They talked about the Samsaras and how they have a connection to water and reincarnation. They did say that they're going to have feats that tap into their past lives and overcome death, but didn't go into any more detail than that on Samsaras. They did, however, give us a specific feat for Tanuki, and that's Tanuki Courage, which increases to the Tanuki speed. In addition, they said that Tanuki is going to be similar to Kitsune, except they're going to be able to transform into objects instead of a fox. For Wei-Yangs, they gave us a specific heritage, but they didn't say what the name of it was. I think the guy didn't remember what the name of it was. But they did say it was based on a hunter, and they said it that with that heritage, your shadow finds a target and then keeps it from escaping, which sounds amazing for rangers. And finally, they didn't talk about samurais, but they did talk about the god of samurais called General Susumu. And for me, that pretty much confirms that samurai are going to be a part of the Tian Xia books. Because why would they have the deity of samurais without having the samurai? That makes no sense. And lastly, for the Tian Xia books, they didn't confirm the Gokibi goblin heritage, which are basically goblins that are good at illusions. And of course fire, because they're goblins. Of course they're good with fire. And finally, before I end this video, I do want to talk about the Abomination Vaults hack and slash video game. Because they did talk about that too. They did confirm pretty much everything I wanted from this game. They tried to make it as close to the actual Pathfinder 2e game as they could. So you're going to be able to build your character how you want, but you're going to have to adapt to each floor in the Abomination Vaults. They also did confirm New Game Plus and encounters that actually make you think, rather than just a horde of monsters that come at you. And teamwork is going to be super important, just like it is in the regular Pathfinder 2e tabletop game. They also confirmed that it is going to be up to 4 players, and you will not need an internet connection to play. And there's going to be a drop-in, drop-out approach to this game, meaning everyone is going to be at the same level. It's going to scale depending on how many players are there, and everybody's going to level up at the end of a floor rather than just whenever. In addition, they did say that there's going to be interesting weapon options, and that you're probably going to discover combos by accident. The music is also going to be in tune with the combats, and there's going to be shortcuts, traps, and hidden treasure in this game. So this game is going to be very different from something like Diablo 3, or 4, or whatever. I am going to try my absolute best to stream this game when I get a hold of it, but we'll see. And that's what I have for you guys for this video. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. And if you want to see those streams I just talked about, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. If you want to see a video on the player core changes coming in November, you can check out this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, teamwork is vital.